Hello guys and welcome back. We're going to head straight into the game. We've been waiting for this lobby to kick off and it's finally loaded in. All the players are happy with the pings, everything's working fine. Spectators are loaded in. The heroes have all been picked, everything's looking good. Fingers crossed, nothing else goes wrong. Scant, you're here to save me, right?
Yep. Looking at ZYF on his lifesteal, he's got boots first. I suppose it's because he expects boots first on the clock as well. And he wants his supports to be able to leave him every now and then. There are 4 heroes on EHOME that have moved to the top lane at the start to get the wards up, but I don't think they're going to be hanging around there. This is just going to be off lane tied onto Fara TK by the looks of things. I think Sansheng might have seen them place that ward actually. So we'll see if there's a counter early on. I actually went and checked while we were waiting with all that stuff. The sort of revival of lifesteal in the scene. ZYF's actually one of the first Chinese players who was playing it again. I don't know if it was it the first game of Dota 2 Champions League China, EHOME vs LGD? It was definitely one of the early ones, and EHOME actually beat LGD with ZYF's lifestealer in that match against Silas Naga, back when
really?
LGD was still trying to run the Naga.
I can't remember. My memory is pretty awful. I remember random, pieces of crap information that aren't really useful to anyone. And then I don't remember the good stuff. June getting the 3 creep cog block, but the creeps don't want to go in. We saw it earlier where we had Clockwork get all 4 creeps from the wave into that little nook and cranny over there. But we're not really working out too well for June. But yeah, June Clockwork off lane up against ZYF on the lifestealer up on top. RTK is tied down to battling out with Sansheng on the line. Rabbit playing the Slark. Mid we've got Moo on the Tiny, while Wisp will be played by Banana at the mid lane. Inflame on the Sniper and DDC playing his Treant once again.
Yeah, I'm impressed by EHOME, I gotta say. This is I was saying earlier on, this is so long ago now, like 40 minutes ago when we were actually watching the draft. It's nice that EHOME's learned, because they lost a similar lineup for Vici getting potential. When they did Tiny Wisp, they lost against the sort of group up and 5-man with lifestealer and push lineup. They've done it themselves. But I'm also impressed because they're innovating here. Mid lane, a little bit of a trade here, but not much is gonna end up happening there.
Tossing the creep back, unfortunately.
Yeah, ZYF is the player that started the Shadowblade Quap thing, and he's also the player who was doing lifestealer first, I'm pretty sure now. So this is a team that's willing to analyze what other teams are doing, but they're also willing to innovate themselves, and I think that's very promising.
Oh my god, I was tapping the desk a little bit a long time with the music. I was getting a little bit frustrated, and somebody just tweeted out, like, do you have a drum kit in the studio? What the hell are you making all this noise for? Yep. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to reply back and apologize. I was literally just slamming the desk, pretending to play the drums, making a little bit too much noise. There is an office next to the studio. Hopefully I've not annoyed her.
I'm trying to think back to the last time lifestealer was really popular. Was Slark already in the game then? Was Slark in CM back when the previous time lifestealer was very popular? Because Slark seems like a hero that matches really well against lifestealer. It seems like a core that lifesteal wouldn't want to fight against, because he's not tanking with hit. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Also, like he can kite him with his pants, with his ulti.
I'm not too sure. It's kind of hard thinking. Okay, well that hero wasn't in yet. This hero wasn't in yet because the addition of heroes over time of Dota 2 has been so sort of disjointed, and over the space of 3 months we'll get like 6 or 7 heroes added. Then the next 3 months we'll have no heroes. And then we'll have 1 added, and then another 4, and then 1.
I want to say Slark's been in the game for ages, because it's been like mostly popular ever since it's been in. But at the same time, lifesteal has been out of popularity for ages as well. So I just wonder if I'm not actually sure what the history on the matchup is. It does seem to me like Slark would be a good hero against lifestealer, and they did actually. I think they 5th picked it when they already saw the lifestealer. So I guess they agree with me there on the Newbee side.
Yeah, we'll see what they have in store for us. Moo throws down the avalanche of the DDC and Inflame, doing a little bit of damage, but Leech Seed, headshots, shrapnel. There's so much annoyance here coming from this Radiant mid lane. Lanham on the Shadow Shaman at bot. Just going to try and support ZYF as much he can as June. A little wander through the jungle, but he's okay for now.
Thing is, you know what? If Slark's good against Nikes in lifesteal in terms of fighting, what he's not good against is if they actually do that death volley move. So I really want to see. I almost want to fast forward 10 or 15 minutes, see if that's EHOME's plan to group up once they have a few key items, because I think Newbee's got a pretty weak lineup against that.
Yeah, they don't have too much early game power, but what they do have is Avalanche and Toss, but needed that little bit of mana now to try and get DDC. In Flame gets the first blood, turning back around onto the Wisp. Hasted move, shackled up, Lanham with a great move into mid lane. One Ether Shock should be enough to finish him off, but they allow the Tiny to get the kill on the Triad beforehand. June has entered the fray, throws down the cogs, and Flame now blocked off from his teammate. As he tries to make a run out, and all of a sudden we've got this burst of action where heroes are dying left and right. Sniper's gonna fall. I don't know if that was lag or if he literally just stopped and stood still. RTK died up on the top lane. Newbee take 3. They lose out on first blood. But overall, what are we looking at? It's pretty much even across the board.
Yeah, what a mess. That a really chaotic fight. I didn't even notice the clockwork rotates all the way to the mid lane. I saw the rocket come in and I thought, oh, it's just from off at his lane, but he was obviously a lot nearer to have that accuracy. And yet the Tidehunter lane, we didn't, obviously none of us were watching that, but this is exactly that kind of lane where they can kill the Tide, but when they're not killing the Tide, he's going to be getting quite a lot of value, because there isn't any way for Slark and Lion to really harass him or zone him out. So we'll probably see another kill attempt on the Tidehunter at some point. And between now and then, he's going to keep getting XP and maybe even gold.
Sunshine hiding in the trees. I think they know RTK's there. He's going to come out now and do the pull. No? Hiding around. RTK wanted to try and contest that. He wanted to get in there, get some anchor smash damage down onto the line and the creeps, but Sunshine is ready. Looping back around. RTK, he's just moving back and forth, hiding from Rabbit. He's super scared.
Yeah, he knows that he can die. He's already died once, so if he's too far off and they catch him, they very well could kill him. Meantime, you see DDC actually making up an ancient stack for ROTK. This is something that I've seen a lot. It's almost like a revival of this strategy recently, where very often there's one... Wait, I think he missed the stack this time, but there's very often in games these days, especially in the Chinese scene, one support quite dedicated to stacking ancients if you have an ancient farmer. Like a Tidehunter or Bristleback or something of those. Those are actually the two main ones right now. I guess we don't see a lot of Luna or Gyrocopter or Sven.
No, it's mainly the offlaners. Bristle. So, you know, Beastmaster tries to stack up for his teams. Medusa is occasionally picked up, and that's probably the other main one. Anti-Mage later on into the game, once against Battle Fury and Yasha of Lads. But yeah, you don't really see it too often. June down on the spot lane, Treads and Bottle doing reasonably well. That kill up on the sniper near mid has helped him out tremendously in this off lane. 7 minutes in, he's sitting at 1-0-1. But the fact that he has Treads and Bottle, so often we see Clockworks running around with brown boots and nothing else at this point.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, Lifestealer's just jumped inside
The Rasta?
Yeah.
No, the creep.
Oh, no, a creep.
See, I didn't see the indicator. I was a little bit confused there. June gonna get taken out. I should have just looked over at the creep wave.
I did the same thing as you.
See,
I heard the sound. I went to look at Rasta, and I'm like, hang on, he's not in there.
I saw these little little things coming out of Rasta's weapons, and I thought, okay, is the animation bugged? Is that what's going on here? But that's just the animation of his weapons.
That's pretty next level, right? So he jumps in the creep before the wave reached the clock, and the clock like gets to the wave and sees, hey, there's no lifesteal. I'll go in and last hit. And it's like, surprise lifesteal. I mean, it's the most straightforward way to use Infest as a ganking tool, but it's a way that's rarely ever used.
Yeah.
Like most often we see the lifestealer jumping inside allied heroes.
Storm, Queen of Pain, Puck, someone who can blink in, and then you've got the lifestealer bomb. Now he can jump into creeps, control them, move them at his will. He can do all sorts of funny stuff.
Here's a smoked up line. He's been pinged out pretty much immediately.
Well, the Lanham still gets stunned up. Moo throws down the Avalanche as well. They should be able to bring down the Shadow Shaman without too much of a problem. Banana, okay. Well, Inflame's going to get a counter kill here, and maybe a secondary one. Moo drops low and assassinated. Double kill so far for Inflame, and maybe a triple as Sansheng is the last man standing in middle lane. Lifestealer comes in, but it's going to be a triple for Inflame on the
well
sniper.
Done. Very well done by Lanham to get the lightning off before he died, but also... is ZWF just going on to Rabbit now as well? Like forcing the ulti, I guess. He's still got his... No, he's not going to force the ulti even. But I spoke earlier on about how, especially against the tree, if you try and kill the sniper, you can really risk return kills. And here they weren't going on the sniper, but it's the same principle, right? If you try and make kills in front of a sniper in the early game, shrapnel is going to hurt you. Did it inflame just by Urn?
And then he sold it.
I haven't seen Urn Sniper yet. Yeah, he did. He just bought...
He sold it.
Did he sell it? Okay.
And bought a bracer. I think he maybe like he had like, you know, you go to the shop, you click Gauntlet, and then you misclick the Urn instead of the Bracer. I'm pretty sure he did that. But Ring of Aquila, Magic Stick, and Bracer now up for him. He's going for the full-on stat value build, as well as the treads. Not
And
going for the face boots.
Look at bot lane. ZYF actually is inside Lanham this time, and I think they're actually hoping the clock will hook onto him. I think that's their plan, yeah?
They're baiting so hard. Lanham, he's doing that little thing where it's like, oh look, there's a creep on low HP. I'm going to go and right-click it, then I'm going to back off and run away.
Yeah, he's really trying to get himself hooked. He doesn't want to be too obvious about it. He needs to sort of subtly give those windows for hooks. Okay, jumping out, they've wasted enough time. Time to farm.
Yeah, exactly. ZYF needs those last hits to keep himself up. 51 for 22 on the Slark at top lane. Rabbit doing a very good job on Slark last hitting away, while we've got 45 and 40 on the Lifestealer and Sniper respectively. June. On the clockwork, he throws down the cogs. He's going to get slowed up, but the cogs keeping them away.
Okay, so again, this is, if my reading of this EHOME draft is correct, I worry a bit about Rabbit, who's getting so much farm and uses it on a Midas, because I just feel like this is an EHOME lineup that wants to group up and do things reasonably soon, and it's a risky call going that Midas against this ball. I mean, obviously if it pays off, you survive long enough, it's gonna be a really good call, but if they do group up early enough. Hang on, just looking at this top lane, ROTK didn't take Ravage at level 6.
Really?
Yep.
Now this is something I've been wondering if it happens, if it ever happens, because Tidehunters, you know, we see them hit level 6, and then they stay on lane until they hit like level 8 or 9. They want to keep farming up and get themselves Arcane Boots and Mech or Blink Dagger. They can't really do that if they're running around defending other people.
Well, it's better to level this way for Ancients, it's also better to level this way for laning. And I guess the theory might be that they have to respect your Ravage even if you don't have it. The situation in which this is worse, and why I think maybe it's a mistake, is just if the team gets into a position where they could benefit from him ravaging and he just doesn't have it. So if he could TP somewhere, join a fight, or if he does get dived, those are all like, if that situation arises, maybe right now.
Oh, RTK. Yeah, if he had Ravage now, maybe they could turn things back around, but with Living Armor, Ankle Smash, you can't cast it. Not even,
yeah, that's...
Not even getting off. Oh, now the relocate in. Tiny and Wisp, they find in Flame. This is a big old kill streak to take, if they can get it, if they can right-click him down, but they can't. But Nana, even though he gets the body blocks down, toss, not quite enough. The tread switching there looked like, plus the magic stick charges from Inflame, just enough to keep him alive.
Yeah, and just showing the value of that tanky sniper board. We've seen a lot of players prefer this recently, moving into the drum, the wand, and the strength treads. Because you're a hero that people assume will be squishy, they often just like take for granted that a certain amount of damage is enough to kill you. And it isn't if you have that tanky build, but I mean, it's funny, right? I was also just discussing the relative merits and, you know, problems of ROTK skipping Ravage. That was a perfect example to show off why you want to have Ravage. And I thought maybe they'd just respect that he has it even if he doesn't have it, but they didn't. They just went for the kill and got it.
I'm getting some lag now as well. Yeah, it looks like the players are. Carla. A little bit of lag. DDC has Arcane Boots on his tree, level 5 heading up to level 6. Let's have a look at net worth though. Overall, there's nothing in it. There is no lead to be had whatsoever, and this favors Newbee, I want to say. For now, anyway. You know, you're looking at Midas on the Slark, he's going to be keeping his GPM flowing. You've got Tiny and Wisp, building up into the Aghanims. Tiny with a point booster and, you know, a decent jungle to farm. He's got lanes to go to, he's got places to be.
But we haven't seen a Ravage yet, which he now has, and the Shadow Shaman is probably going to be taking down tier 1s every time he ulties. There's another one coming up soon. And the way this draft seems to work to me, the 2 times I've seen teams do this lifestealer into group up and push strategy, is they wait for the lifestealer to get his next item, which will probably be an armlet. Sometimes they skip it for the SNY, but I think ZYF likes the armlet. Yeah, he's bought the helm, he's going for the armlet. And I think at that point that you have the armlets and maybe tied as a blink or a mech or something like that, that's when they group up and they just start being impossible to handle. So maybe, probably before the 20-minute mark, we'll see EHOME making more aggressive moves as a team. Well,
they've got a big old engine stack for RTK to take down. He's taking his time with it, though. Running back and forth, I don't know if they're trying to bait out movement from the clockwork. Jude now scouted out with the rocket, so it looks like Newbee might prepare themselves to jump in there.
And there's a smoke from EHOME, Tidehunter Tree and Shadow Shaman. Lifestealer TPing up as well. He's gonna infest in someone. He is jumped inside the Shadow Shaman. If they get Slock, this is a big kill.
There goes the Hex. Slock though, Dog Pact, Rabbit. Spot on timing.
Yeah, good reaction. If he doesn't Dark Pact right away, he's definitely going to die. They'll still get the tower here, EHOME, but I think maybe Newbee can look for a trade. No, Newbee probably can't look for a trade actually. That living armor up, the mid tower is going to be just fine.
Well, tier 1 going to go down to the Serpent Wards, 4-man movement up at the top as the TPs now, they're going to try and defend mid lane. Inflame and DDC both preparing themselves. I don't know, people are asking me to move the camera, but I'm moving the camera. Maybe in-game it's got that bug again. I know that the other day, in-game watching Dota TV, it was bugged out. I think you guys have to rejoin the slot or rejoin the server again. Relocate up on the top, they're going to try and find Lanham and they will succeed. With some style. Avalanche, Toss, Banana and Moo now trying to clear up those Serpent Wards. Get themselves a nice little boost of gold. As RTK and ZYF. Okay. Okay, Sanjay is hasted. They can't kill him. He'll spot them out. The Rage. No, you can't. You actually cannot do it. RTK has the Ravage. They'll wait for Rabbit now to waste his Dark Pact and throw it. He's ready. He's waiting. Drums from ZYF, but they're not. They just cannot. They can't do it. Newbee are running circles around EHOME right now.
Lion's haste ran out like probably 2 seconds after you said they can't get him as haste. So I wonder if they checked his status and were like, it's about to run out, let's make an attempt. But EHOME not losing much there either because not having to use the Ravage, and in fact the Lion used his finger. So they're gonna be in a position where they're happy to push for another tower. And going actually a bit sooner than what I said. They didn't wait for the Shadow Shaman ulti, they don't wait for the armament. They're just moving to the next tower.
They've got Yashron, Sniper, ZYF. You know, his armlet's still a fair distance away, but they've still got the threat of that Ravage. Just the threat is enough. Rabbit, he's going in here. ZYF takes the Avalanche, but they jump in. Double hook shot now onto Inflame and DDC. The Shackle and Ether Shock nearly finishing off Rabbit, but Banana caught in the cogs by some dark magic. Actually tethers and gets caught up in there. Assassinate. Oh man, Rabbit twice in a row now escapes with about 20 HP.
Yeah, and despite the fact that he escaped, still a big win for EHOME, right? And they're gonna get Mew as well still? Yes.
Like they're gonna get Moo indeed. RTK is gonna be the one that gets taken down. The Shrapnel will finish him off. The Assassinate not needed. Ah yes, that was how I fixed it last time. Was the switch to interactive mode and then switch back out of interactive mode. Thank you, Cause VD. That was how I fixed it.
I think part of the strength of these, what I'm calling death ball-y type strategies based around the lifestealer, seems to be that, there's another relocate, and I think Inflame is in danger.
Well, they brought the clockwork in. The lag is real. I don't know if the players are getting this or if it's just me, but DDC comes in with the overgrowth. It will not save Inflame as the cogs go down. Leech Seed and Living Armor might just do it. Oh yes, he gets healed up. Gets healed up, and they have to relocate back to base.
Yeah, I also lagged through that fight, so I wonder if they had it. But again, just look at how much help the tree does to the sniper. That's not just living armor. He used all 3 spells and all 3 mattered in saving his life.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the point I wanted to make about these strategies based on the lifestealer where you group up and push. A big advantage here is that the lifestealer, which is almost like a forgotten core, which hasn't been played a lot so recently, is a hero that's very, very difficult to fight against in this stage of the game. This is like his first peak where he's really hard to handle. And so you group up and you push, and the enemy team, if they want to defend against you, well, they got to deal with lifestealer. And time after time after time, what I see is a team wanting to defend and not really having a proper plan to deal with the lifestealer and ending up losing a fight as a result. I almost want to say that Newbee needs to rather like pick their fights and get the farm they need, develop a plan to be able to handle the lifestealer before they just kind of, oh, they're pushing, we'll defend, see what happens kind of thing. I
think plan A right now is get Aghanims on Tiny. That has to be really the main objective of Newbee right now. It don't really matter about Sunshine getting a Blink Dagger, he can get that in time. June has 4 staff, treads and bottle. He's perfectly happy where he is. 80 minutes in, that's great on a clockwork off lane. While Rabbit, you know, 1-0-0, he's got 2200 gold. Shadowblade, probably his item of choice. Could be a Blink Dagger, you're never quite sure. I feel Shadowblade is a little bit stronger right now. Looks like it's going to be Blink. He's heading into the side shop.
Yeah, and indicating they want to fight, and there's a relocate.
We're up to top. Yep, they're going to find Inflame. He doesn't drop low enough to take him down, though. DDC, living armor, now shackled into June. They'll bring down one. Can they bring down the rest? The toss on to Wisp, and they send themselves back to base.
DDC has been superb this game. Just in the right place, the right time, always. How many... I mean, sure, we see Trent saving people a lot with living armor, but how often do you see Trent using his Leech Seed and his Overgrowth to save people in the early game? It's, I mean, he's just there with the massive Overgrowth twice in a row now.
RTK Ravage has to be thrown out. Rabbit now getting right click down. The shrapnel will take his HP pretty low, but RTK survives on how much? 15? 15 health. And the Lion can't finish him off. Rabbit again does escape. Rabbit has escaped 4 times now in quick succession on very, very low HP. He's cutting it close, and if he gave away kills here.
Wants RTK.
He wants him so bad. He wants to Inflame now. Rabbit goes back in, misses the pounce. Inflame turns back around with the shrapnel. Headshot, no ulti. Clockwork Rocket Flare will kill off the Tidehunter, but they lose their slug. And in the end, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, I feel like the decisions Newbee are making right now are exactly the opposite of what they need to be making. I mean, we're talking about how it's difficult for them to force the aggression, and Slark goes for the dagger. I mean, he's got a farm advantage. Does he need to be aggressive and take the fights right now? They're losing the fights right now. Same thing with these relocates. Very, very aggressive relocates. So, DDC again blocking the hook. Wow, that I think that was intentional. I mean, he saw the clock up there. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't see it.
DDC was invis, scouting at the clock, looking at the sniper, and he just kind of like stood in between the clock and the sniper, and then when the clock hooked, it just went into this invisible tree.
Nice. DDC.
Really, he's doing so well to protect his team this game.
And by team, you mean sniper?
Yeah, mostly just the sniper.
It is mostly, like, maybe he's saved RTK a couple of times, he's thrown living armor down, but he's been saving the sniper. RTK did opt for the mech rather than blink build. What do you think the reason is? It's like, mech obviously helps you 5-man, we've been talking about that quite a lot. Push into the tier 2 towers, try and break high ground, and blink sort of comes naturally.
The mech is precisely that. It's good for pushing, and they don't need to initiate. They can just push towers and say to Newbee, well, you initiate or we kill your towers. And they're perfectly fine with that situation because they're strong enough right now to win the fights, even if the other team is the one initiating. And I see June up at the top lane with the invis rune. I really have no idea what his intention is here. He's pinging, he's hoping for a relocate, I guess. But there won't be one, and it does seem a little bit risky. The lifestealer might not be alone. And even if he is alone, he's very difficult to handle right now.
There's the Rocket Flare, just keeping tabs on him. June wants to know who he's dealing with and where they are. Sunshake down on the spot lane though, trying to save Rabbit. The dust is popped, and Rabbit again escapes with limited HP. Does he just have to buy a BKB?
Well, this is the thing. He bought a Blink Dagger, and he wants to fight now, because that's normally when you buy it on the Slark. But I think he needs to farm 1 or 2 more items. I think that's what he needs to be doing.
Yeah,
like constantly trying to get things done when he's just not in position to actually get things done.
He needs a Skadi, he needs a BKB, he needs a Butterfly. There is all sorts of itemization that Slark really does require to make him a big impact later on in this game. Tier 2 tower bot will get taken by the Serpent Wards. As
the same way I said that sure Slark's good against Lifestealer, but not good against the 5-man. The Blink Dagger is the same kind of thing. It's an item, the Midas, the Blink Dagger, both of them. If EHOME or 5-manning down a lane, those items are not doing anything. So even though Slark's really rich, he doesn't have the kind of items that help in that situation.
Yeah, we saw ZYF jump into the sniper there, trying to bait down hookshot again, maybe. Even the Slark is trying to jump onto the sniper. That is their go-to target. He's the easy one. He's a big damage output hero as well.
ZYF is like, he's like the new Rabbit in the sense of, you know, Rabbit was this unknown and up-and-coming Chinese star who rose really fast to the top, and I think ZYF might do the same thing this year. Just like such an innovative player, but also just such a like safe and careful player. He gets his plays right. He comes up with really clever ideas. I don't see him making a whole lot of mistakes. Just a really, really strong player in the Chinese scene right now.
Yeah, and it's like the plays he goes for, you know, we talk about flashy players kind of like Sumail and Ferrari. They go for that big flashy play, but ZYF, he goes for the more, you know, calculated, intellectual, I don't know, is there a word to describe it? Less flashy, just more something.
Cerebral, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, and Lanham does have the dagger, so even though the Ty doesn't, the Shadow Shaman does, and that's perhaps a more important hero to have it on. It means they could possibly catch out Slark, and it also means he's going to get his wards off in every fight.
Slark getting hammered by ZYF on that lifestealer, has to pounce himself away. Yeah, in a 1 versus 1 fight, Slark with the level, with the low duration on Shadow Dance, with the pounce, the blink, you know, maybe you can go in there and do a little bit of chip damage to the lifestealer, but after that Shadow Dance is expired, you've got nothing to fall back on. You really have to try and focus down, you know, Treant, Sniper, try and get the supports and win your team fights that way.
Oh, I think Sanshang's been spotted, and he'll try TP out. He's gonna make it.
No stuns.
Yeah, because Lanham's Blink Dagger was already on cooldown. And I keep wondering, you know, at what stage are EHOME going to push it a bit further, go for Roshan or go for tier 2 or maybe even go for the base. Maybe they do want, ROTK is close to level 2 ulti and not too far from dagger, so maybe that item is important to them. Because as much as my analysis so far has been that it's going to be difficult for Newbee's draft to handle this, when you're dealing with Wisp Tiny, never mind a super farm Slark, the game goes super late. It does get hard for EHOME, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. We're looking at their lineup and thinking, okay, they're strong now. Newbee do have the farming advantage, though. They've got these cores that can flash farm relatively quickly. The Tiny, more important of the two, obviously. Once he gets up into AC Manta style and start relocating around and taking down objectives, you're looking at tier 1 towers still standing mid and bot. Tier 2s obviously across the board. Whereas EHOME have taken objectives. They're the ones that should have a pretty hefty lead, but they're only 2,000 net worth ahead. They're not even ahead in terms of experience. Newbee are holding on to this game pretty well.
Of course, the one weakness of Newbee's draft in terms of, let's say it becomes more farmy and slows down, the split push is not so great against Shadow Shaman with Lifestealer. The Lifestealer jumps in the Shadow Shaman, he blinks in, and Wisp will explode, then Tiny's alone, and I think the two of them might be able to kill the Tiny, so it's not as simple as, oh, if the game goes late, Newbee's going to be ahead. But I absolutely agree that the pressure's on EHOME to get things done, because they're in a position where it feels like they should be able to get things done. It feels like they should be able to go for axes in the next 5 to 10 minutes even.
Yeah. We still haven't seen a big old Ravage from RTK just yet. Have we seen a Ravage at all?
I'm not sure. We saw the one time where he would have loved to have ravaged and he hadn't leveled it yet. But
and then at bot lane he got jumped by Rabbit but didn't ravage. He managed to survive and then got killed by a rocket flare at the end.
Well, he's gonna have a dagger now as well on the Tide Hunter. It's on the way to him. And this might very well be that milestone they're waiting for. Sniper's got his BKB, Tide has his dagger.
Well, Serpent Wards are dropped on the tier 2, so they want to take this as quickly as they possibly can. Not holding on to those wards for tier 3, which, you know, sometimes you might see.
Yeah, I think they're happy to take one objective at a time and they can still defend theirs. A lot of the time we've seen this game, Newbee trying to go for a trade when EHOME go for a tower, and they just don't get it. Just like at the spot lane. And it's really bad. When you're against a Treant, to chip damage a tower in response for losing a tower is like, it's meaningless basically. You lost your tower, the Treant's gonna heal the towers up, and you didn't get anything. Well, but, yeah, Mew's got a lot of farm on that Tiny now. And he's got a BKB.
I guess one Hex on the Tiny and then, you know, there's lights out. The Ravage, they've got lots of disables there. But Overgrowth is still that threat. If DDC can hold on to it, which more likely than not he will, until close to the end of the fight when Ravage has been blown, there's Avalanche Toss gone. If DDC can stay alive and Overgrowth near the end, allow Sniper and Lifestealer that little bit more time to continue killing Tiny, to continue fighting up against Slark. Oh, here we go. Hex now to Moo, Avalanche, and Banana has to try the relocate save. He's holding on to it, keeping Moo alive. The BKB turnaround, Ravage not going to land as BKB from Moo allows them to take down the Rasta, but Lifestealer has already cleared up the Wisp. Newbee are looking for the turnaround though. RTK will be the second to fall. And ZY have an inflame. Okay, now they're the ones getting stunned up. Newbee are the ones on the aggressive. Rabbit jumps over the BKB Sniper, caught in the cogs. Moo hammering away with that big old branch. Inflame needs to run. Lifestealer cleans up line over to the right. As Moo now, he's caught in a pretty rough spot. The rest of his team backing up.
How many times is it going to happen in this game? The Lifestealer actually ran away, left the Sniper alone to fight pretty strong heroes, but DDC to the rescue with that ulti, that living armor, that leech seed. How many times are we going to see this game when Sniper looks like he's in a bad position, all of a sudden there's a tree.
All of a sudden there's a tree.
The start of that fight, I want to say ROTK didn't know Tiny had a BKB. He had picked it up like within the last minute before the fight, because he had a good chance to ravage before the BKB, and waited, and as a result, that's the only reason the fight was even close. I think it goes very favorably for EHOME if ROTK hits the ravage on the Tiny and no BKB goes off.
Yeah, it's difficult to know, and it's difficult to, estimate he's going to go for BKB. It wasn't the item I was expecting. I guess in Chinese Dota, BKB is, one of the top items still. Whereas in Europe, it's been falling off a little bit. You buy BKB when you need to, and never like any other time. You go for AC, you go for finishing off your Manta style. Mask of Madness even on Tiny. We've seen that picked up a lot of time in Europe as a last ditch item more often than not. But yeah, BKB is usually your fourth or like last item when you really need it.
Well, how's that for an argument for picking Lifestealer, right? People like to buy BKB on heroes. Lifestealer just like has one without buying it.
Yeah.
And Lifestealer's one as well. I mean, it has short cooldown. It lasts 6 seconds no matter how many times you use it. Never goes down to that 5 mark.
The dog pile in onto that clockwork at mid. 4 heroes all surrounding him, and then they move into the Roche pit. I thought this was something that Newbee might do. They came across, they got the DD rune, but they picked it up with the clockwork, and Rabbit did not want any parts of it. In fact, Rabbit trying to do what? Battle up against the creeps? The shrapnel came from long range. I thought Inflame was a little bit closer than he was.
Oh, you know what? I've just gone and realized that I was saying that EHOME had learned from analyzing the replay where they lost to VGP. It wasn't EHOME, it was HGT. I mean, they might have still learned from analyzing those games, but it's HGT that we saw lose against VG Gang Potential
and they had
in a similar
anti-mage.
matchup. It was it was just like this. HGT had the Tiny Wisp combo with the Silencer, Storm, and Spirit Breaker, and it was the Lifestealer strategy going against them for VG Gang Potential.
Sniper now with a Deso. Oh boy.
I think the analysis still holds though that this kind of lifestealer Lanham doesn't find that this kind of lifestealer strategy has the potential to just break through before Tiny and his Wisp get to the position they want to be in.
They get the hookshot down to Lanham, but they didn't know that Lifestealer was inside. June gets ripped a new one as Rabbit pounces but can't quite latch onto a target. Shaman, Lanham will get slapped around a little bit by Tiny.
That's okay though, right? He didn't have ulti up, he'd already used it, and trades for core in the clockwork.
And then you got Lifestealer running around with Basher now.
How many times have we seen a Desolator on the Sniper?
I've seen it 2 or 3 times, and I want to say I've never seen it in Europe. I've seen it once in Southeast Asia, and then the other 2 or whatever times in China. They pick it up when they're super far ahead. And look at it in Flame, he's 8-1 and 6. They buy it to break high ground. It's a relatively cheap item that allows you to take towers really damn quickly as a sniper. You just demolish them.
Exactly what I was thinking. It fits that playstyle. We're gonna group up and just force your high ground. Lifestealer in front, force you to deal with them.
Oh, DDC's found the overgrowth on the 2. In comes RTK with a Ravage, but Moo pops the BKB just in time. Can't relocate out though as the Wisp evaporates under the pressure. Basher, yep, gets the bash. The TP is cancelled as Craggy now stops RTK and ZYF in their tracks for a short while. Rabbit even throws down the Serpent Wards. Moo gets cleaned up. Rabbit on the retreat. He's got to try and leap his way away. Line up. Oh, bash. No, not quite. They did do a hell of a lot of damage though before he got out.
He's not going to bash both TPs. I think that would be a bit sad for Newbee if 2 heroes TP'd out and got bashed to stop their TP.
Just a little bit sad.
Yeah, so Edge is still intact, and again, the fight started off a really good DDC initiation. DDC who's really been the paramedic this game, just protecting Sniper, keeping him alive, but he's managed to eventually get himself his own Blink Dagger so he can make proactive moves too.
And now high ground push in. They don't have the Serpent Wards. They kind of bust that one over at the fight onto the Slark to try and do as much damage as they could very early on. But they've got Desolator, they've got the Lifestealer just wailing away at this tier 3.
Yeah, and Sniper's range means that as long as he's got vision of the tower, he can attack the tower and the tower won't be able to attack him.
And how do you stop this? Clockwork? Is he really? Gonna try and skip the creep wave. Rabbit takes a few hits from it. Look at that damage. Holy crap. Rabbit dropped to 2/3. Shrapnel, they're still going. Inflame wants to get some more hits. Rabbit nearly dies. Inflame
gets... an agency on the sniper,
yeah.
So...
Sansheng has just blown his load onto the sniper, who wouldn't even have cared if he had died just there.
Amazing. A sniper just like casually walking behind Slark, hitting him and forcing him to ulti in there.
Ghost Scepter, June. Looks like he's going to be just fine for now.
I think we're going to see this fight or push forced very soon by EHOME. They're happy to just siege, but ROTK's nearly got Ravage up again. And I think they take a fight when he has it because they've got an Aegis.
I was just about to say, they've got Serpent Wards as well. Throw them down and take these racks.
10 seconds on Ravage.
Oh my god. Rabbit just cannot do it. He cannot get anywhere near. Inflame with a couple of hits. Dropping his HP super low. Okay, hookshot in. They catch ZYF and DDC. Caught in the cogs now. Rabbit pouncing onto nobody. BKBs both pop before the Ravage actually lands as Moo and Rabbit both trying to battle up, but ZYF says, hello, I have a basher. Say hello to my little friend as Moo dies, Rabbit on the run, Serpent Ward's cleaning up the base, and heroes aren't really even needed here to destroy objectives.
And another really big ulti from DDC there. So sure, 2 people BKB'd the Ravage, but they get caught in the overgrowth. So same work being done basically. And yeah, what we said, the Slark might have been a good pick if they needed a hero to 1v1 Lifestealer, but it really doesn't feel like the right pick to handle this 5-man push. It feels like, to me, Newbee misunderstood what EHOME were doing with their draft. They thought that this was just going to be a slow-playing, late-game scaling draft, not a draft that groups up reasonably early.
And now ZYF from the front lines, he doesn't really care about anything that's thrown at him, but Sanjay goes straight in for Inflame. Gets the Hex and Finger down, Rabbit trying to battle up through everything, but shackled by Lanham. Inflame takes out the Wisp, hookshot again. June trying to do as much as he can, but this is just going to be it. Newbee looking down and out as RTK blinks forward and Sniper is killing everybody.
Yeah, but I want to say MVP of this game, definitely DDC on that trend. And this is becoming more and more the case in my opinion. I mean, we talk about core players, but in the Chinese Dota scene, I feel like a lot of the games, there's just one support player on one side, if not 2, that just absolutely shines. We saw FY and Vici recently doing that. How many times have we said it about Faith or Chuan, Lanham on this team as well. There's a lot of strong support players right now which can like make a dramatic difference to the outcome of the game from the start to the end.
Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of minutes, guys, with game number 2. ZYF there with 12-0-4 on his lifesteal. Let's see if he can replicate that performance, or whether Newbee have something up their sleeves for game number 2. Stay tuned and find out.